All arrested, hopefully by now, indicted and charged. Kelly was screaming, this was the demonic person, saying, "This ain't God's house, this is the house of the devil." He said to one female woman congregant who was with two young children, "Why are you not involved in this?" Screaming Nazi in people's faces. "Do you know your parents are Nazis? They're gonna burn in hell," said this guy. He expressed surprise that the police had not even come. More arrests happening. 30 more church attackers now arrested and indicted. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel celebrating, saying, "Today, we just unsealed an indictment, now charging 30 more people who took part with ultraMAGA in the city's church attack in Minnesota, causing mayhem and broken bones." At my direction, today, federal agents have already arrested 25 of them, with more to come throughout the day. Pam says, "You cannot attack a house of worship, capital. If you do, you cannot hide from us. We will find you, we will arrest you, and we will prosecute you." The Department of Justice stands for Christians and all Americans of faith, and we are happy about this development. Every one of them should be arrested, tracked down if necessary, and face justice. Kash also confirming, today, 30 more individuals have been indicted under the FACE Act in connection to the January 18th targeting of City's church in Minnesota. It's the new J18. As of this morning, the FBI executed a joint operation with Homeland Security and our partners, arresting over 20 of these people, with additional arrests to come. This makes 39 indictments in the city's church case total so far, including the arrest of ultraMAGA, who now is also being civilly sued, and multiple alleged leaders of the riot last month. Kash says, "Let it be known, this FBI will never tolerate anyone who targets, intimidates, or attacks Americans peacefully exercising their right to worship freely." Thank you to Pam Bondi and the DOJ for your relentless pursuit of this case. And of course, we know ultraMAGA is this guy right here, seen in the church, also charged and now being civilly sued. You see this report from the New York Post saying, now one of the parishioners is suing him, slapping this lefty activist with the civil lawsuit. Lemon, of course, 59, already arrested on this. He joined a dozen BLMers and other activists saying, "I'm a journalist, I can go do whatever I want. First Amendment can trample your First Amendment." In the suit, the woman's name is called Ann Doucette. She says the protesters storming of the parish, which happened on a Sunday service packed with families, left her with severe emotional distress. Fear, anxiety, and trauma. They were there saying, "Hands up, don't shoot. You didn't know if you were going to get blasted." Other attacks have happened on places of worship, including Christian churches, and that rowdy agitators deprived her of her right to practice her faith freely, 100%. The suit was obtained by TMZ, also named some of Don Lemon's fellow protesters. The ousted reporter, they say, linked up, and he helped provide logistics and local contacts. And we've explained it, that there were one part of a whole. Don Lemon needed the agitators, Nekima needed the media. So they were working in conjunction. Without each other, this is less effective. And so together, they have their strengths of insurrection combined. Chantel Louisa Allen, William Scott Kelly, all these people were already originally indicted. These were the first three. This was the double handcuff woman, and this was the demonic voice figure. Then ultraMAGA came afterwards. That's the big one right there. And we got the full list. Jerome Richardson, Jamal Lundy, Traheen Cruz, Georgia Fort, Ian Austin, Aziza Aboud, Max Adamson, indicted. Michael Butte, Ezra Blumenfeld. We got Shane Bowman, Kelly Carey, Monique Quellers-Doty, Tiffany Dunlap, Andrew Edwards, Rachel Goglioski, Amelia Hanza, Ariel Hopman, Krista Hogan, Heather Lewis, Daniela Mathias, Katie Michelson, Eric Michelson, husband and wife little duo there, David Okar, Jarmel Perry. We got, it just keeps going. And this is enjoyable because they're all arrested and indicted now. Cheryl Pergashel, Emar Moreno, Spencer Bocanegra. We've got Catherine Shaw, we got Satara Allen, Charles Swenson, and Robin Swenson, another little happy couple there. Thomas Tier, we got Lee Tuggle, John Virgin, and Mark David Winefarter, right there. Great, Mark David Winefarter. All arrested, hopefully by now, indicted and charged. Beginning on this date, all of the defendants named here were engaged in this conspiracy. Here's how they did it. They organized Armstrong, Allen, Strong, and Doty, along with other persons. They organized the entire operation. They called it Operation Pull Up. They did it on Instagram and Facebook. And I wonder if Instagram or Facebook banned them. But you know who they did ban is our friend, the Lectern leader, who got his Facebook account banned. He's running for office. Thank you for supporting him too. But I wonder if they banned these people after their attack on a Christian church, or do they just cancel Adam? Now, defendants here met at a shopping center for a pre-operation briefing. All of these insurgents were working together, including Weinfarter, and they were there to plan their attack on the church. And then each of them committed overt acts in furtherance of the crimes. Here's overt act number 1. On January 17th, before J18th, the day that shall live in infamy, Armstrong got text messages from a local news correspondent in Minnesota who said, an ICE officer is a pastor at the church. Armstrong, Nekima, she said, this is outrageous. How could he be a preacher and a Christian if he works for ICE? Then overt act number 2, Armstrong used her cell phone. She did a number of internet searches. They have her cell phone. She really wanted that back, and there was a battle over that. The ICE officer named by the local news searched Midway Club, the meeting location, and they started the plot. Then on January 17th, Allen and Strong, they conducted a reconnaissance. They drove by the church in preparation for their attack. They made a video documenting their operation, including the location of parking areas where they could all pull up and raid the building. She noted in the video, my thoughts are to be able to clog up this whole alleyway right here so no one can leave. So somebody's a graphic artist and put together Operation Pull Up and said, be ready to mobilize. And she posted the flyer on 2 Instagram accounts at Nekima and Racial Justice MN, explaining on January 17th, they posted similar flyers. Chantel posted that. Then Doty posted it on her Facebook. Then Edwards shared that flyer on his Facebook. Oh, they're all busted through Facebook. Okard posted it. Perry posted it on Facebook. Then Armstrong and Don Lemon were texting each other. On the morning of January 18th, all these defendants listed in this section here gathered together for a pre-operation briefing. At the briefing, Armstrong and Allen advised the co-conspirators about their target. They said, we're going into a church. They said, a church? Perfect. We hate Christians. Then that morning, Lemon began live streaming. He has the Don Lemon Show, where he explained to his audience that he was in Minnesota with an organization that was gearing up for a resistance operation. He took steps to maintain operational secrecy. He reminded certain co-conspirators, don't disclose the target of the operation. Don't tell them where we're going, otherwise they can plan. Then he stepped away momentarily so his microphone would not accidentally divulge the meeting. During a discussion with the defendant Armstrong, Lemon thanked Armstrong. Lemon said, hi, I really appreciate what you're doing. And I assure you, I'm not saying anything about what's going on. I'm not disclosing the target of the operation because he's a co-conspirator in the operation. Armstrong also then explained that Operation Pull Up was clandestine and that she and other agitators would show up somewhere that is a key location where the targets don't expect us, and we disrupt business as usual. That's what we're about to go do right now. And Lemon said, I know, we'll see you there. Now, before going to the church to join his co-conspirators, Lemon advised his live stream audience. He said, we're going to head to the operation. This is Don Lemon. Again, we're not going to give any of the information away, because then it might show off where we're going and I'm part of this conspiracy. So I have to keep it under wraps or else you'll know about the conspiracy. Now, also, at the pre-briefing, Allen, the defendant, led another co-conspirator in chants there. She said, this is what community looks like, and ICE out of Minnesota. Continuing on the morning of J18, defendants then went to the church. While en route to the church, Richardson told Lemon, hey, we got to catch up to the others. Lemon says, let's go, catch up, go. And because he was still live streaming, he instructed Richardson and Butte, don't give anything away. Don't divulge where we're going. We can't say too much. We don't want to give it up. While in his vehicle, Lemon also mentioned to Richardson and Butte, I don't think we can go ahead. I don't think we can go inside, right? And then he answered his own question. He said, no. I guess no, like we can't go, or no, maybe we can go. I don't think we can go inside, right? If you're answering that affirmatively, you might say, yes, we can't go in there. But then he says, no. But then they entered the church. Shortly thereafter, they joined the other co-conspirators. So almost like maybe saying, no, we can go in, answering the question in the negative, like, no, we can go in. Continuing on the morning of J18, all the defendants entered the church. First wave positioning themselves among the congregants, second wave led by Armstrong and Allen commencing the disruptive takeover, after the first wave of agitators, then were activated and joined. Now, as the pastor was beginning his sermon, Armstrong, Nekima, interrupted the service. loud declarations saying, "This church is harboring the director of ICE," and indicating that the time for judgment had come. "You're all going to go to hell." And other defendants immediately joined in by yelling and blowing whistles in a takeover on the church, all of which quickly caused the church to become chaotic, menacing, and traumatizing. Kelly did the same. Kelly was screaming, this was the demonic person, saying, "This ain't God's house. This is the house of the devil." He said to one female woman congregant who was with two young children, "Why are you not involved in this?" Screaming Nazi in people's faces. "Do you know your parents are Nazis? They're going to burn in hell," said this guy. While inside the church, another defendant personally participated in this, shouting. Don Lemon was there. He told his live stream audience about the congregants. He said, "Well, there was a young man who Lemon could see, he said, was frightened and scared." "Oh, there's a young man who's scared and frightened and crying." And Lemon said, "Well, that's understandable because this was traumatic and uncomfortable." That's our point. As the operation continued, Defendant Lemon tacitly acknowledged that the illegal nature of this. He expressed surprise that the police had not even come. He said the whole point of this operation is to disrupt. Where are the cops? Cops don't care. They're out too busy worrying about the Somalians. While the takeover operation was underway, Lemon asked Nekima, the leader, "Who is the person that we should talk to? Is there a pastor or something?" And she pointed toward the front and said, "Well, he might have run away." Other conspirators were standing nearby. Lemon, Richardson, Fort, and Butte. They approached the pastor, surrounded him to his front and sides, stood in close proximity to the pastor in an attempt to oppress and intimidate him, physically obstructed his movement, Lemon peppering him with questions. While talking to the pastor, Lemon also stood so close to the pastor that Lemon caused the pastor's right hand to graze Lemon, who then screamed at him, "Please don't push me as I'm attacking you and your church."